Well, hello YouTube, it's me again, Stay Classy, and I'm coming at you with a new video. This is my experience so far with Windows 8. Now I have a video that I put up before, Life as a Windows 8 Fan, and a lot of you have left some pretty good feedback. I've seen a lot of people who were excited about Windows 8, a lot of people who were skeptical, and of course you have your few who are like, oh no, I'm never going there. No, I'll stick with 7 or XP or Windows 98. Hell, I hear ME is still doing good. Anyway, so going forward, today's conversation is more about user feedback. I'm talking to the people who have asked questions, who were genuinely curious about what Windows 8 has to offer. So I've got a little checklist here so far, and what I'm going to do is just simply go over a couple points that I feel can use a bit more in-depth of a look. So one of the first things I want to talk about is my experience so far. It's been a couple months since I've been using the final build of Windows 8. There have been a few patches that have come out, and I want to talk about Windows 8 primarily as a user who uses both a touch interface and a non-touch interface. So as you can see to my right here, I have a Asus G75 VW packing a NVIDIA GTX 660 graphic card, a solid-state hard drive, and a platter-based hard drive, and I use this for all my video editing. Behind me here is my Surface tablet, which, as you know, runs Windows RT, not the full version of Windows, but we'll get to that later. And as such, I have a very good idea of how Windows 8 runs on two completely different devices. So to get started, so far I'm loving it. There are a few issues here and there, mostly being that the learning curve is quite steep. When you've spent years getting used to having a start menu, getting rid of it is quite a big deal. Now, that being said, there are many great alternatives. For instance, there's something called Pocky, and they have a start menu. And this start menu, I feel as though, actually improves upon Windows' original start menu, and it has a nifty little feature of turning off the Windows button. So this way, if you do hit the Windows key, instead of going back to Metro, you're just going to open up the start menu. A lot of purists will love that. Now, with that being said, let's remember what Windows 8 is about here. Windows 8 is about changing the way we use computers. For some of you who may not know, Microsoft is working on something called Blue. Now, Windows 8 is more of a transition, but don't worry, you're not going to be paying for this one. Windows Blue will be a free upgrade for all Windows 8 users. So, everybody take a big sigh of relief. Okay, now that we're finished with that, the reason Windows 8 is so different is because Microsoft is trying to move into the next era of computing. The same way the GUI shook up the whole computing world is the way that Windows 8 is shaking it up now. People said, oh, well, we don't need GUIs. Command line works the best. Well, aside from some of you Linux users, which I admire because I was a Linux guy until Ubuntu just kind of, I don't know, I just got tired of having to SU and do all, use terminal commands 24/7. But I mean, I got tired of Linux and I love it, but the same way that the GUI shook up the command line world is the way Windows 8 is shaking up the current world of the start menu. So Apple has their little dock at the bottom, and I've mentioned this in my old video, and that I feel as though it's a bit inefficient, mainly because when you have 50 programs, when you have that thing filled with 50 programs, no Apple user can deny it can get a little frustrating at times if you have to constantly be switching between applications. You have to hunt through this tiny thing, and on the 11-inch MacBook Air, I've seen what people go through having to look for icons on that thing. Let's not go there. It's a mess. Windows 8, as you can see, gives us everything across the whole screen, which is very efficient. And one of the things I really like, besides having my email so readily accessible, is the fact that I can just pin it to the side of my screen, just like that. Then, when I go back to Windows, I can continue doing all of my work I can just keep doing and not worry. And that's a big benefit. So the next thing we're going to talk about today is Xbox Music. A lot of people have been asking me, hey, what's the big deal about this new piece of software that everybody's talking about with Windows 8? Now, there are a few benefits and a few cons, so we're going to look at this objectively. Now, Xbox Music is essentially a paid version of Pandora. Now, when I say it's a paid version, you can use it for free for playing all of your music files. In fact, on the Surface tablet, this is your main way of being able to play your music. So it works perfectly fine as a music player. However, for $100 a year, pretty steep, but well worth it, you get to listen to pretty much all the music on Xbox Music servers, but there is a very nice feature. It's commercial free. So what you do is you can type in the name of an artist, you can type in a song, and when you find it, there's a nifty little feature called Add to Playlist. Now when you add it to a playlist, it will actually download the song onto your device. So when you're on the train, like for instance, every morning, you can ask anybody who's seen me around town. I'm always with Surface in hand listening to music. I can take my whole music playlist with me wherever I go. And it does, as I illustrated in my previous video, it does download to all of your Windows 8 devices that are registered. Now there is a cap, you can only do this with 5 devices, but honestly, who will have 5 different computers for themselves? Like, I think you only need like 2, maybe a laptop and a tablet, 3 if you have a workstation at home. But that's something that is like a non-issue. If you have more than 5 devices, then kudos to you. You have more money than I do. But Xbox Music allows you to be able to take your music wherever you are. And it doesn't matter where you are. The minute you have an internet connection, you can listen to music online. So for instance, let me take you into it really quick. So I'm just going to show you how this works. I'm going to go over to Xbox Music right now. As you can see, I still have my Outlook pinned to the side. I like doing this, but you know what, let's just get rid of Outlook right now. We don't need it. So here's my music playlist. I have 145 albums, and they all come from Xbox Music because I have the service. So like here's Destiny's Child, Say My Name. It's, you know, a classic track by her. And let's go ahead and turn this down a little loud. So this is playing, and as you can see, you have a beautiful interface in which you can watch all of, you know, like the album art, you can read a bio. But let's say we come over to the side, right? I want to see what else Beyonce has put out, or Destiny's Child. So I'm going to pick Destiny's Child Fulfilled, and there you go. All of a sudden you have all of these other songs by her. Very elegant, very sophisticated, very easy to find music similar to your tastes. Now this is a feature a lot of people don't realize exists. So if I come over here and I go to search, a lot of people have complained that Xbox Music, you can only search based on album or artist. Not true. For instance, let's say I want to find the name of a song. I'm going to look for the song Some Nights, and I'm just going to hit enter. Now, as you can see, it tells you the top result, Some Nights by Fun, which is the group that sings it. So I can click here, and kaboom, I've got the song Some Nights right there. I can go ahead and hit play, and you hear how quick that was? Granted, I'm on file, so some people with slower internet connections might have to wait a couple seconds, but nevertheless, if you have a decent internet connection, it's instantaneous. But that's Xbox Music. Now, the cons of Xbox Music is that it's very limited in what it can play. WMA, MP3, and I think MP4. However, it does not play FLAC files, something which I am very upset at, but you know what, you win some, you lose some, and personally, I think Fubar 2000 is still the best alternative for FLAC files. So, granted, some people might feel as though Xbox Music is a bit too invasive, whereas some people might feel as though Xbox Music is just what they're looking for. You pay, it's $100 a year, but you pay and you get a service that gives you such flexibility. And that I like. Not to mention, we get new releases almost instantly. Girl on Fire was like on Xbox Music the day of the release. Unorthodox Jukebox, I think, had an early release on Xbox Music. So you do get some perks outside of what things like Pandora and other paid services can give you. Can I say it's an iTunes replacement? Not really. With iTunes, you pay per song, but you do get to keep the song. However, I do not like the way iTunes handles my music. I think it's slow. I think it's a little bit too invasive in the fact that it thinks it can organize your library better. And I had to spend about 2 days reorganizing my library by folder and album. So I wasn't too keen on that. But for some people it works, and you know what, if it works for you, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, well, that's your best alternative. But for me, Xbox Music works. Okay, so moving on, we're going to be talking about OneNote. Now, OneNote is an application that is primarily on Surface. Now let's go ahead and bring my Surface tablet over here. One of the viewers asked me, hey, how does OneNote work on a tablet? Now, OneNote, I haven't really used it too much. But, so I'm going to load it up for the first time here for all of you. So as you can see, it's going to set up my notebook. It's connecting to my email. And once it creates your OneNote catalog, I've used it before. I like it. At my school, at least, we use a lot of digital content for our education. So our teachers constantly have links for us to be able to refer to. Now, in these links, I find that OneNote has a small little perk. For instance, as you can see, I already have like a note here for seminar H4C2, which was one of my Digication uploads for school. Now, when you're online, I know that here you can just come and you have the clipping tool. So I'm going to go ahead, open up a web page. I'm just going to do Facebook really quick. I want to save something from Facebook. I hit screen clipping. I can just drag and select what I want. Kaboom. Save it, send it to the selected location, and in OneNote it opens up. From here, I can go ahead and I can add in, like, oh, let's say I want to highlight a piece of data. Oops, I'm double touching by accident here. There you go. I can just like scribble and highlight it. Now, if you have a pen, of course, this makes life a lot easier, and we're going to get to that later on with the talk about Surface Pro. But OneNote seems to be a very viable alternative for many people. So that's OneNote. I think it's really great. You get to save web pages as notes and comment, annotate, and essentially have them in a permanent place for you to view them. And it's pretty useful. I'd say a lot of people like OneNote, and I gotta say, if I use it more, I would like it too. But from what I've seen so far, it seems like a very, very sophisticated piece of software in terms of being able to take your things where you go. Apple, of course, has alternatives like these, so this is not something that is Windows 8 exclusive, but on Windows 8, I seem to think that it would work better because, of course, it works native with Word, PowerPoint, you know, your clippings, you can drop right into those two pieces of software. Whereas with Apple, you might have to go a little more roundabout, like exporting it as a picture file and then putting it into your selected Word program. But it's these little things that make Windows 8 so efficient. The next thing I want to talk about is Surface Word. Now, when I say Surface Word, I'm actually talking about the whole Office suite. So this is expanding on the OneNote. I use Word wherever I go. The reason I do that is because for me, with having a Surface tablet, it's just a quick place for me to be able to jot down notes, be able to take down ideas, but most of all, get my work done. Being a student, Word has become extremely critical towards my student career. I've stopped dragging this massive transformer wherever I go. I love you, but it's heavy. And mind you, it's my choice of a laptop because I want power first, no compromises. But granted, when your back is crying out for help in the subway, you look for alternatives. So having Word wherever I go is a big plus. And also, because of the battery life on Surface, I have never had a day I ran my Surface out of battery power. Quite literally. I've watched videos on the train, listened to music like 24/7. It's always running in my backpack on standby. Pull it out, hit Word, ready to type. My teachers upload a lot of PowerPoints to Digication. I download their PowerPoints. I have PowerPoint side by side with Word. My teachers are in love with it because I've become such a better student with having the tools available to me. And Word on Surface definitely does that. Imagine you're a business professional. You can literally get your new PowerPoint into the cloud. As soon as you save it on your desktop computer, boom, save to the cloud. You pick up your Surface. Before you leave home, you download it straight to the Surface through PowerPoint, and it automatically syncs. Get it out your SkyDrive, go to work on the train, you're editing your PowerPoint, getting it ready, getting it ready to go. You get to work, literally plug in a flash drive, because guess what? We have USB, something the iPad doesn't, little food for thought. But you have your USB port, drop it onto the USB port, and then you plug it into your display computer at work, or you use the Surface to do the presentation with, your HDMI out. And guess what? Boom, there you go. You've got yourself a set of tools which allows you to do more than anything I've seen in Apple so far. I find a lot of Apple iPad users are constantly asking me, oh, can your Surface do this or this? And they're asking about productivity things. Things like, oh, are you able to take a Word file, right, and save it in a legacy format so we can open it on our work computers? Yes, you can. Can I take my Word file from my work computer and open it here even though it's a legacy format? Yes, you can. Can I, write up my articles on the train and insert picture? No, you can do everything you can do with Word on the computer, but in a portable device. And with choices like the Samsung tablet that they have out, Asus is releasing some pretty nifty pieces of kit. Lenovo is stunning everybody with these new ThinkPad Touch series computers. You have an unlimited array of choices in which you can choose what tablet fits your needs. And so going back towards Word and Surface, it works beautifully. If you're a student and you're looking for a device, I would say stop at Surface. Seriously, just stop there. Unless you need something with specialized capabilities, like if you go to school and you do photo editing, then get a laptop. But if all you need is Word or a device that can go the whole day without being tethered to an outlet for you to take your notes down on, Surface is literally the final stop. Did I mention that Word comes for free on Surface? That's cool. Not the Pro, the RT. But trust me, you want the RT for Word because you get like all day battery life. I think 10 hours, but I've gotten more than that. But Now, so this brings us to the next point that a lot of people are anxious to hear about. Surface Pro. Now, what are the differences between Surface Pro and RT? Think of it like the difference between, imagine you had two iPads. One iPad is the exact same one you can go to Best Buy and buy right now, and the other iPad runs full OS X, but they look completely indistinguishable. Like, you couldn't tell the difference between them. Like, imagine they skinned OS X to look exactly like the current iPad, and that's what was running on it. That's the difference. Now, what does this mean for you? Now, for RT, there are a lot of benefits and a lot of negatives. Now, let's start with the negatives. Let's have our veggies before our dessert. So, the negatives would be that, okay, I can't run Photoshop on my Surface RT tablet. That sucks. I can't run pretty much all of the software that comes for Windows. That sucks. But what you get in return is that you can run applications from the Windows Store. So in other words, it's the exact same experience as you would have on an iPad. But the things you get, for instance, being able to split screen apps, where you have one app, like let's say my music app is pinned to the left side of my screen while I play Angry Birds on like the larger right portion. So I can multitask with apps instead of constantly switching between them. And, going into it, that's some of the limitations of RT. With Pro, you get the whole RT experience. You get all of the apps, the same side pinning, you get everything that you know, but you're also getting a tablet that can run Photoshop. How many of you graphic artists out there have dreamed of a day when you can have Photoshop in a tablet that is slim, that is relatively light, can support a digitizer pen, and is actually quite quick? The Pro is coming with, I think, an i5 processor. I know i3s that are still like blowing my mind as to how fast they are, considering it's the budget i-series processor. You're getting an i5. Now, granted, it is thicker, and people are saying, oh, it's thicker than an iPad. Well, it's such a negligible difference that if you're honestly buying a device because it's like a millimeter thinner, or even if it's like 5 millimeters thinner, you have a problem, especially because what's the first thing you do with an iPad? You buy a case. So your iPad with a case is thicker than the Surface. And guess what? The Surface is like 10 times more durable. I've dropped my Surface onto concrete, and I literally have a dent that you have to zoom all the way in with your eyes to go, oh yeah, there's a dent there. And, like, whereas you drop an iPad, and it's like, you'll be picking the screen up on 42nd Street, and the body of it's on 40th, So, you're getting the full Monty with Surface Pro. You're getting everything. You're getting your Photoshop, you're getting Word, you're getting Metro applications, but you're getting all of the legacy software. And when I say legacy software, I'm talking about just standard software, anything you can run on your computer. So whatever you want to do, Surface Pro will allow you to do it, except put a CD in, but you can get an external CD drive and go. How cool is that? That literally you have a tablet that does everything a laptop can do. That is what Surface is about. That is what Windows 8 is about. Windows 8 is about making sure that no matter what device you have, you get a user experience that is almost essentially the same no matter where you go. And RT too, because RT behaves exactly the way that Windows 8 does, except you just can't run desktop applications. A minor loss, but that's fine. We'll take that. Finally, going into Windows Phone. Now, a lot of people here are not sure about Windows Phone. Unfortunately, my Lumia is dead right now. Poor girl. I forgot to put it in last night to charge. But I've been using Windows Phone for quite a while. I'm still on 7.5. I haven't tried 8, but I have been at Nokia's Lumia 920 party, and I got to use the Lumia 920 quite extensively there. And I have to say Windows Phone 8 is another step in the right direction. Now, let's be honest here. If you use the Windows Phone device before Windows Phone 7, you were probably pulling your teeth out at some point. They were slow, they were clunky, useful, very useful, but they were just, it was kind of like, unless you were a business professional who needed the features Windows Phone had, it was not your first choice. But Windows Phone has now evolved. Now, you still have Word on phone, so you can check your documents on the phone in case you don't want to use the tablet. But instead of having some clunky interface that's very complex with small icons, you have this beautiful array of phone icons. What's not to love about it? Especially for the fact that it does not slow down. I have yet to see my Lumia slow down, and I use a Razer every day. So for a lot, in fact, I'm pretty sure earlier in the video you heard the ringtone go off. So I use an Android phone day to day because I'm waiting for Verizon to get the Lumia. Verizon, if you're watching, I want my Lumia. I want it now, and please stop doing this to me. I have waited too long for the 920. I want my 920. Okay, rant over. So, you know, until I can get that phone, I've seen some of my friends who have the Lumia 920. It's bulletproof. I watched my friend drop it while he was smoking a cigarette. He picked it up. He didn't even like bat an eyelid at the fact he dropped it. He just knew he'd pick it up and it would be fine. My friend's iPhone, he literally broke it yesterday. I saw it on my Facebook feed. He broke his iPhone yesterday by dropping it from the same height that my other friend who has a 920 dropped his. And I mean, I don't understand it that people brag about how the iPhone is so thin, yet they have to buy a case because, God forbid, you leave your iPhone naked. You have like a 50% chance you're going to have to replace your phone. Does that make sense? I seem to remember that a phone should be about having a tool where you can take it into the real world and expect it to work and not have to worry about it breaking, not have to worry about it like force closing on you, not have to worry about it rebooting and having network issues. No, Windows Phone 8 is the most stable phone out there. Now there are quite a few things you need to know. Number one, we don't have some of the bigger name apps like Instagram. Google is busy being evil and like pretty much trying to put Windows Phone down because they damn well know that this can bite into Android if it gets good enough. That's like a few years off. But if you want a phone that works, if you want a phone that allows you to see everything you need to see very quickly, if you want a phone that works as a phone, gets great reception, gets great battery life, is durable as hell, Nokia is the way to go right now. And I'm saying this because I have a Nokia. I'm not talking as some sort of paid shill. I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm doing this because I want everybody out there, you, the viewers, to know that, listen, we are in a new time. This is not the days of Windows XP and having to wait for drivers and all sorts of crazy nonsense that we've had to put up with Windows over the years. One of the reasons many people have switched to Mac. Now, we're in a new era. We're in a time when Windows has become the viable alternative and Apple has become stagnant. And whether it be Windows Phone 8, a phone I can just toss out to the side, and I know she's going to be fine. I know she's going to be fine. I've done this so many times, and it landed on the screen, by the way. I can take a phone that is literally going to still work, toss it all over the place, not worry about it being durable. Tablet that I can drop and know it's going to keep working. I have a laptop, which gives me the power I'm looking for with the efficiency I'm looking for. I have a suite of tools that works for me. That's what Windows 8 is all about. And if you're skeptical, give it a try. Best Buy gives you like a 14-day return policy on the devices. You don't even need 14 days to learn why Windows 8 is superior. And you're getting an upgrade for $49.99 right now if you buy a Windows 7 PC. So guess what? Buy a Windows 7 PC, get Windows 8. If you don't like it, call Microsoft, get your money back, revert back to Windows 7 and keep it. If not, keep your Windows 8 if you love it. But give it a try. And I ask all of you Apple fans out there, listen, I understand. Listen, we've treated you bad all the years. We're sorry. But, I mean, granted, you guys have made fun of us all the years for being Windows fans, so it's kind of even keel. But, listen, let's put our differences aside. What do we all want at the end of the day? We want functionality. We want usability. If you want usability, if you want a computer that can do everything, and you're not paying $2,800 for a laptop that only has a GTX 650 graphic card in it, when for half the price you can get the better graphic card. You can get the better tools. You can get the better hardware. Something more future-proof. If you really feel as though you're curious about Windows 8, give it a try. Get it. Rent it. Use it. I don't care where you use it. Try it and give it an honest-to-goodness try. Give it a few days. You're going to hate it on the first day. You're going to kind of get used to it the second. The third day, you're going to kind of go, okay, it's kind of cool. In 5 days, you're never going back. This is Stay Classy once again. This has been my review of Windows 8 and Windows Phone 8 and Surface. If you like it, please subscribe. Share this video in case you have any friends who might be curious too. Every share helps. It helps me in being able to keep these videos coming. And I'm trying to be as fair as I can. So please, if you feel as though there are things that I am not saying, or things that you feel as though I'm biased towards, let me know in the comments. Because we're not here to just, oh, Windows 8, I'm not Ballmer going around going, developers. We're not doing that. This is about being honest. And to be honest means to be subjective. So let me know what you, the viewer, want to see.